Pit Fighter is a game where you fight. Where do you fight? In bars, car parks, garages, subways, everywhere except a fucking pit. Pit Fighter was originally a 1990 arcade game by Atari and was actually the second ever fighting game to use digitised sprites, the first game being Reikai Doshi, Chinese Exorcist, so before your Kang Loos and your Zero Subs. Pit Fighter was later ported onto the Mega Drive. That's the version we're playing today. Was this game Pit Fighter or Shit Fighter?
Sorax space. High quality entertainment for all the family.
Let's stick the cart in and find out. The opening cutscene shows the challengers, aka the blokes I can control and get the living daylights beaten out of. We can choose from one of a mind-blowing 3 characters. A wrestler called Buzz, who enjoys forcing 2 men to kiss each other and controls the sun with his tit muscles. Ty, a kickboxer, who enjoys showing everybody the soles of his feet and happens to have the exact same voice as Buzz. And Kato, a martial artist with only half of the bones you're supposed to have in your body, who enjoys contemporary dance on mountain tops. And that's what I'd look like if I ever left my swivel chair and didn't down 10 cans of lager every night. The ultimate competition, except for many, many others. Some weird dominatrix man keeps staring at me on the high score screen. He promised he wouldn't try to tie me down and have his way with me, but I'm not sure I believe him. I don't know sign language, but I think this guy is trying to say he wants to hug me, put a bullet through my temple, and then dip my head in a melting pot. And I'm not sure what this guy is trying to tell me. He seems nice. I'm sure he's very friendly, and will become best of pals during the tournament. Here we have a man that salutes his own spit, and a woman doing a very odd movement with her hand. Maybe she's displaying her disapproval of violence by giving a thumbs down. Maybe she's blowing a kiss. Maybe she's tossing off a banana-shaped peen in order to pay the entrance fee. I just don't know. The story of Pit Fighter is similar to one of those gripping yet complex plots from a 4-disc long RPG adventure, but to summarise, you beat the shit out of people for money. The Executioner is the first opponent. Yep, level 1, and I'm already desperately searching for a fire exit to escape through. Buzz is a bulky, chunky fella, and he controls like it too. The jumping is so awkward, and for some reason he has to say yeah every time he tries to headbutt someone. So if you need a favour from Buzz, I'll ask him while he's in a headbutting mood. The front cover shows Buzz calling for a cab, alongside a limbo dancing George Michael. If Buzz is meant to be hitting someone, I have to say I've never seen such a cool and composed face while doing it. It looks more like Buzz is picking out his favourite can of beans from his local supermarket. The back of the box says enter the world of pit fighting, the meanest, toughest way of making a living. They've clearly never worked in retail. Remember, wrestling is for grannies, Pit Fighter is for real! Tell me about it. Those grannies are always wrestling. They can never settle their bingo winnings like civilised people, can they? Our second opponent is Southside Jim, who looks like he needs to visit the Southside Quack. He also looks like he's come straight out of a fitness exercise VHS tape.
That's it. Keep up, guys. Come on. Move those arms back and forth until you feel your knuckles warm up from the breath of your screaming sparring partner.
Buy Pit Fitness today.
He also jumps like he's on the moon. Speaking of the moon, maybe Jim should have been called Neil Armstrong because he's just beaten Buzz.
Sorax space. High quality entertainment for all the family.
And now he's already practicing for his upcoming darts tournament. Man of many talents, old Jimbo. You win prize money for each round, although I'm not sure who's paying you or how this all works. For all I know, Buzz's agent promised him a job at WWE SmackDown, but very shortly discovered that that was a slight exaggeration of the truth when a hard wooden barrel collided with his face. It's common knowledge that after every fight in any sporting event, everyone goes back to a warehouse and gathers round a forklift to celebrate its successful operation. Look at them cheering.
It rises! Praise be to our forklift god!
If you take just a moment to get a good look at the animations of these forklifter files, you'll notice that the majority of them either have crippling arthritis or backache. This lady's humping the air so good, she has to hold her mouth to stop herself from screaming.
Forklifts, 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 ah!
So we leave the headquarters of the National Forklift Appreciation Society, and as I said, the fighting arenas are everywhere but a pit. I only bought this game on the assumption it was a coal mining simulator, and one of the miners finds out that his colleague had been buggering his wife. My dreams were shattered. Apparently it's a grudge match next. What does the manual say? In Pit Fighter, there are no rules. This is primitive, unregulated prize fighting at its meanest. No rules? How interesting! So the rules of a grudge match are the first one to knock your opponent down on the ground 3 times wins. No rules. Unregulated. Except the bit that we regulate. And is that fucking awful noise every time someone goes down really necessary? Next up, Angel. And I wouldn't bet on her living up to that name. She looks like she's taken it up every orifice at the same time in exchange for a mouldy sandwich. She's gone from being a world-class gymnast to the world of pit fighting. Except we aren't in a pit, we're in a bar, and the number 3 is written on the cupboards. Rumour has it that this isn't even a tournament fight. It's just that Kato walked off with his drink without paying, shouting, "Well, it says it's free up there, don't it?" Provoking Angel to jab him in the eye socket with a knife. She was absolutely kicking my ass, but I managed to come on top in the end. Had to pay an extra 50 for that though. In the options menu we can change the difficulty, scaled between 1 and 8, as well as listen to all of the music and sound effects. The music is nothing short of the worst thing my ears have ever experienced. I would get the same sound if I repeatedly sat up and down on an out of tune organ. Well, isn't that just the best ever musical creation? The answer's no, by the way, in case you're wondering. This tune just won't stop. It's climbing its way all the way off the top of the scales. It's still going! No, this is taking the piss! The track hasn't actually ended, it's just reached a pitch so high that only dogs can hear it. But the real joy comes from the voices. Hey, you leave my dick alone, just like everybody else. Sounds like my doctor after he checked my cholesterol.
You're nothing.
I'm well aware of that. Look, love, I didn't buy this game to receive abuse, alright? And why do you all sound like you're speaking for a cone? You're dead. You wimp. You're dead. You're dick. No. He's even more sinister than I thought. Now to face CC Ryder, and boy is he tough. When you lose a life, you choose a character and respawn. But your character respawns and bows on entrance, which leaves you completely open to being attacked. The guy clobbered you with a pool cue and planted his foot in your cold dead body. I think etiquette has long gone, mate. The fighters don't look completely awful, and I'm sure being one of the first games to use digitised sprites, this would have been fairly impressive back in the arcades. But then why would you put a grand total of fuck all effort into everything else? It's two extremes. Look at that crowd. From real people to shadows with mere dots representing all of their facial features. It's like the designer said, you know what would be great? A load of fucking grey people. Yeah, just make them all grey. Make their trousers grey, make their shoes grey, make their faces grey. Include that robot from Doctor Who. That'll add to the realism.
Pit Fighter is for real.
Jeff Lynne from the band ELO has showed up not once but twice, because the background artist was so incredibly lazy that the prospect of drawing 6 different people was clearly such an arduous task. These look like a robot rap trio. You would have thought they would have liked metal music.
Sorax space. High quality.
I could draw a more realistic face in Microsoft Paint in 10 seconds. And I'll prove it too. Just like in a real life pub, get too close to someone and they give you a wallop. Sometimes they even try to stab you for the audacity of being within a metre of their proximity. Other than that, I hear they are quite a welcoming bunch of people. If you like your wallet emptied and your head permanently tilted at 90 degrees because your neck's been snapped. Imagine if you were playing Street Fighter, where someone with a bike chain on the side of the screen gets the chain around Ken's neck and strangles him to death. Even if you don't go anywhere near them, they get bored and come out anyway, stab in the air instead. Everyone's a nutter in this game. Chain Man Eddie is up next. Here's an interesting pit fighting fact. He's called that because he's got a chain and his name is Eddie. He's about 10 times my size. Who was responsible for arranging the weight categories for this competition? They should be shot. Totally studly. I thought this was a fighting competition, not a hunk contest. Inside of the barrels are power pills, which if you manage to pick up before your opponent, make your hits do twice as much damage, whilst damage inflicted on you is lessened. What happened to winners don't do drugs? When you swallow the power pill, you flash like crazy, and look like you're transforming into some sort of mega robot, a bit like that one in Michael Jackson's Moonwalker.
Pit Fighter is for real.
I was hoping Ty could now fly and shoot devastating lasers out of his fists, but unfortunately, the artist couldn't be bothered to draw any of that either. Heavy Metal is up next, and if ever I've wanted to beat someone up, it's when they wear sunglasses indoors. You want everything to look darker, do you, mate? I'll help you with that. Despite looking like a complete twat, Heavy Metal is actually quite tough, and he is kicking my arse at the moment. But at least the crowd are having barrels of fun.
Sorax space. High quality.
Angel wants a rematch in the car park. You know when you see 2 pairs of identical cars, perfectly symmetrical to one another, parked in a car park? Well, I don't. You've probably got double vision, mate. Get your eyes checked. Think the Mega Drive port looks bad? It's actually widely regarded as one of the best ports of the lot. Take a look at the SNES port. No health bar, no weapons, number of opponents reduced, bland graphics. It's a lot like the food you eat that eventually drops out of your anus. Sure, it's technically still the same thing, but now it stinks and looks like shit. Mad Miles is up next.
Back off!
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought we were in a fight. I'll back off and let you smack me repeatedly in the face with a cue. You start the game with 3 lives, and unfortunately that was the last one, so it's game over. He's still spitting. You disgusting man. There's absolutely no way I'm beating this game fair and square. So like a lot of times in life, I'm ditching the concept of fairness and morality, and I've come up with a shameless technique. Yep, move spamming. Do a jump kick, knock them to the ground, and rinse and repeat. It's far from flawless because you do get hit a few times, but it's my best shot. Ty seems to be the best fighter to choose because he's by far the quickest and most agile. He's also an avid fan of disco and appears to have modelled his fighting moves around the Bee Gees. What were you doing tonight, Ty? Oh, just picking up women in bar. I found out if you double tap the D-pad, you can do a gymnastic style getaway. Like an athletic circus clown who's just been caught juggling his balls in a way the circus doesn't permit. Stage 9 of 10 sees you fighting Southside Jim again. What in God's name is that? Why in the background is there a drawing of a grotesque woman with an octopus head and weird tits? Stage 10 of 10. How am I going to beat 2 of them? One of them was hard enough. It's like that cartoon, you know, Ed, and a tiny man with a death wish. Why are they chained up like wild animals? I don't even know if I'm fighting humans anymore, or if they're some sort of laboratory-created steroid-pumped monster.
Pit fighter is for real.
I didn't think I had a hope in hell until I saw that the boneheads are so stupid they sometimes punch each other, so maybe we have half a chance here. This is it, the final boss. There can only be one. Yeah, it's a shame that weren't the case in the last round, eh? After endless brainstorming sessions, surveys and studies on great names for the Ultimate Champion final level boss fight, the designers decided to name the boss Warrior. There's the power pill! Ah, fuck. Oh, so that's when that god-awful music comes in. He's been kicking me so hard, he has pieces of my skin stuck in his boots. This game is a prime example of a video game defeating its purpose. It's supposed to be fun, but that soon turns into anger and sheer determination to beat it, just so it hasn't beaten you. It becomes hard work. I haven't got time for this shit. Actually, I do. Take control. Hold down A, B and C to perform a super move. So I can do an extra powerful jump kick? Now you tell me! I probably could have won long ago if I'd known that. It would have saved me hours from making an epic montage and all. Guess I'll have to finish it now. Stupid fuck. Overall, if you like your fighting games awkward and with a near impossible challenge, then Pitfire is the game for you. And you probably fit right in with those nutjobs in the game. It seems the only way to beat it is to move spam over and over again, and that's on low difficulty. Consider this metaphor. Streets of Rage is a drinks carton, Fun is the drink, and Pit Fighter is the ice that's left after you've sucked every last drop of the drink out. I give this game a SOAR rating of 12 out of 1,856,490. I've been Sorax, watch this space. And remember kids, wrestling is for grannies, so if you see any grannies on your travels, wrestle them to the ground. And don't bother with consent.
Great.